There's some promising news for one of Australia's most endangered animals. The name isn't particularly inviting, but the northern hairy-nosed wombat is a chunky cutie, I'm sure you'll agree, and they're fighting their way back from the brink with a lot of help from some passionate locals. And some joeys have been born in a relatively new rehabilitation site for the first time, as you can see there. Leanne Brosnan is the ambassador for the Wombat Foundation, and she joins us now from Bundaberg in Queensland. Leanne, g'day, good to see you again. What's it like for you to get this news that there are these joeys in the pouches now in the Powrunna State Forest near St George in southwest Queensland?
Couldn't want for better news, because it's a sign that this third site is a success. The wombats are breeding and happy, and, you know, that's the most we could wish for.
Yeah, so were there once tens of thousands of northern hairy-nosed wombats in eastern Australia?
Tens of thousands, Joe, but they were certainly spread in a population from Deniliquin in New South Wales right up to central Queensland. And unfortunately, with competition from sheep and cattle, potentially mange from foxes and droughts, floods, even prickly pear, the numbers dwindled to a small single colony in central Queensland near Clermont. And by the time that was conserved in the 1980s, there was only 35 northern hairy-nosed wombats left on Earth.
Wow. And so what are the sites where there are populations now, and what are the numbers?
So there's 3 sites. The main site remains at Epping Forest National Park near Clermont, where there's about 360 wombats. Then there is a second small site at Richard Underwood Nature Refuge in between St George and Surat, and that's overseen by the Australian Wildlife Conservancy. There's around about 17 wombats there. And then Powrunna State Forest is the newest colony, and in the last couple of years, the Queensland Government has translocated 36 wombats to Powrunna to set up that new colony, which is incredibly exciting.
Yeah, and that's where you've just got this great news from. And so why are you so passionate about this and the northern hairy-nosed wombat?
Well, as you know, Joe, Thallon, which was my first teaching post, has an historical connection to northern hairy-nosed wombats. And that sort of got me connected with the species. And once I learnt more about the fact that they were one of the most endangered animals on the planet and fighting so hard to come back from the brink, I just had to get involved. And they're unique, they're bits of characters, and I think they deserve all the help they can get.
And as I understand it, you were instrumental in the commissioning of a statue that ended up in Thallon, and I think we can bring up a few images of that as you talk us through this.
Yes, so in 2017, made his home in Thallon, and he's there to acknowledge the historical connection that Thallon has with northern hairy-nosed wombats, because it was one of the place where one of the earliest specimens was sent to the Queensland Museum for identification. So we celebrate that in Thallon, and William is well loved by locals and visitors alike.
Yeah, and we can just make out some climbing rungs on William there. Are the kids still climbing him?
They are, Joe. I haven't climbed him for a number of years, but the kids, big and small kids, are still climbing him, which is great.
Good stuff. And you've got a bit of a campaign on with the Olympics at the moment.
Absolutely. We've pitched to the Olympic Committee. The Wombat Foundation has pitched to the Olympic Committee the idea of the northern hairy-nosed wombat being a mascot for the 2032 Brisbane Olympics. And so, you know, we'll just have to see what comes of that.
So we've just put up an image. Did you put this together, Leanne?
We had a wonderful animator put that together for us, this campaign, which exemplifies all the characteristics that make northern hairy-nosed wombats worthy of being an Olympic mascot.
Yeah. Well, why do you think they're worthy?
Definitely their never give up spirit, and, you know, they're Queenslanders, Joe. So what better mascot for the Brisbane Olympics than a Queenslander?
And so how optimistic are you now that the population will continue to grow, seeing that, like, it got down to 35, just 35 in the 80s and 90s, up to more than 400 now? Are you pretty optimistic that it'll just continue to grow from here?
Look, we're very hopeful because the Queensland government has done an amazing job with their partners in the Wombat Recovery Program in setting up Powrunna with the fencing and the water points and, monitoring the wombats. So they're giving them every opportunity. And the fact that we have joeys that have been born on that site, shows that we're certainly on the road to success.
Good stuff. Well, keep up the good work, Leanne, and great to catch up again.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's lovely to talk to you.